आवाज आ रही है ये फोनोग्राफ से, ढूंढो खुदा को दिल से ना लाफो गज़ाफ से।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers of MTA Africa, welcome to another episode of Future of Work. Today, we're exploring a topic that's becoming increasingly crucial in our tech-driven world: greening the future, the vital role of sustainability in technology. As technology continues to evolve, it's essential to consider how we can make these advancements more sustainable. From reducing electronic wastes to designing eco-friendly systems, the intersection of technology and sustainability is where the future lies. Joining me in the studio for this discussion is Abbas Agbaje Sahib. He is the managing consultant at Impact Crest and a seasoned environmental, social, and governance specialist. Is also an impact professional with over 13 years of experience. Abbas has been instrumental in driving sustainability initiatives across various sectors, emphasizing the impacts of integrating environmental, social, and governance consideration into business strategies. Abbas Sahib, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan for having me.
Alhamdulillah, we're glad to have you, sir. We also have with us virtually Dr. Ibrahim Abayomi Matajo, who is a lecturer in marketing and consumer behavior with a PhD in sustainable disposition from the University of Glasgow. He is a DIY enthusiast who believes that what we often consider waste is actually a resource waiting for the right opportunity and purpose. Dr. Sahib, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We're glad to
Happy
have
to
you.
be here.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Together with our guests, we'll delve into how sustainability is shaping the future of technology and what steps we can take to ensure a greener tomorrow. Before we get started, we have gotten the opinions of some individuals. Let us listen to what they have to say about the topic of discussion.
Actually, if I'm going to be more environmental conscious, I will actually try to make everything in order. Like environmentally, I will actually make some things like my waste bin, all this and that. I'll make sure everything is in separate places where it will not be hard or to make it easy for anybody that is going to, like, the waste bins, like the people that will come and pack it.
On my way out this morning, I saw some students going to the school. After chewing some maybe snacks or something, they just threw the lining of that snacks on the floor. To me, those snacks, there are some, the government provides some authorize some rules that whereby passing by the street, there are some waste bin. You see them alongside. Just put it there. Those trash, those waste, put it at the waste bin. Then the government agencies that do recycle waste, we come there and recycle the waste.
As a student of tech, I think if you could code a system that could solve human problems, we could save the planet. Every day, I intentionally make choices that will make me live more sustainably. I reduce plastic use and use reusable water bottles. I'd also turn off lights and appliances. I also recycle waste I use public transport and I check short distance. All these small steps are just for me en- to encourage economic sustainability.
Okay, technology can help through like to be like programming it for like everyone. So like they can program it in a way that such a way that everybody will have his own waste bin. That your own separate and the other one separate, so that it will be easier for others. Not that they will jam pack everything in a place.
Welcome back. Everything we want to do, sustainability is very important. Abbas Sahib, in today's workplace, we have sustainability consultants, and like you also consult for different organizations. So what does a sustainability consultant do in today's tech-driven world, and how can they help businesses make eco-friendly decisions?
Right. Thank you for the question. So I think it's useful to provide a context in terms of what sustainability really means.
Okay.
I mean, the entire concept of sustainability has been around for a long time. However, in terms of the way it's been used recently, it all started from 1987 when the Broadband Report was issued, and the term sustainability was defined as the ability for us to achieve our own goals, to enjoy our own life without compromising the ability of future generations to also live and enjoy their own lives. So that's just for a layman, understanding. Now, the idea is that there are tripods of sustainability. That is the economic, the environmental, the social. So the idea is there should be a balance in all of these, such that because we want to seek economic gains, we should not destroy the environment. And because we want to seek economic gains, or we want to transform the environment for our own pleasure and well-being, we should not also cause adverse, negative impact on other people. Now, so the idea is the way we will enjoy our world today, how we extract resources, how we apply ourselves in businesses, in our personal lives, should not destroy the earth such that future generations will come and meet, an environment that is not wholesome for them to also live a life that is good.
So basically, the job of the sustainability consultant is to see how our enthusiasm in creating a better workplace, making things easier for ourselves, would not destroy the future of the generations to come.
Exactly. So I'll give an example. Say, for example, there are very high-risk sector when it comes to environmental and social impact.
Okay.
So when you look at the mining sector, for example, now when you want to mine, it involves a lot of excavation, exhumation of, various geological materials. It often involves taking land away from people, land acquisition. In that process, a lot of people are displaced, whether economically or physically. Their houses, their properties ceases to be theirs. They are now asked to resettle elsewhere. This disrupts education, it disrupts livelihood, and it can throw people in poverty. So the idea is, there's a sense, sustainability consultants, we always say there is what we call a mitigation hierarchy. When you want to implement a project or a business decision, a strategy, you must think from avoidance, mitigation, offset, or minimization. First, what are the high risk that can bring about negative impact? How can we avoid those? If you can't avoid them, then you have to minimize the impact. If you can't minimize the impact, then you have to offset. You create an alternative that help people to regain their livelihood, to have access to resources they will not easily have access to. For example, in mining, in a mining field, there's going to be use for a lot of water. Now, if the water in an environment, the total water in a particular area is not sufficient, abstraction of water will lead to conflict with community people.
And there will be harm, there will be disturbance.
There will be disturbance. This is why you see conflict. And this is what you see in the likes of DRC, in the likes of Guinea, in different parts of it, even in South Africa and the likes, where you have a lot of mining activities going on. And you often see that people will have to work there. Sometimes you see issues of child labor in these mines, forced labor in these mines, sort of modern slavery in these mines. And you see people work day and night, but the total amount of money that gets to them is very minuscule compared to what is being earned by the people who transform the gold, the lithium, all these various metals for various goods in the world.
To put everything in context, the job of the sustainability consultant is to mitigate effects.
To mitigate negative impact?
Negative impact, and to ensure that the interests of individuals are protected.
Of individuals, sometimes we even often emphasize vulnerable categories such as women.
In fact, sometimes
children.
while protecting the impact of these individuals, the interest of the businesses would also be
fantastic,
be protected. Because of course, when the people working in the environment are better, you also
productivity level goes high.
Increase.
Then community people will not disrupt operations. And that's what we call in our field of work, we call it the social license to operate, such that businesses can operate without fear that their properties, their assets will be endangered because of, insurgencies or kidnapping and similar
I know
things.
Abbas has a lot to give us when it comes to sustainability. It's something he's very passionate about. And of course, you will have time to give us more. Let me go to Dr. Ibrahim Sahib. Dr. Ibrahim, just like Abbas said, as a sustainability consultant, of course, there must be policies you have to follow. There must be strategies. There must be regulations, especially for businesses. So, are there specific regulations or policies that businesses must be aware of, or they have to be aware of in driving their technological integration and other policies in their workplace?
Thank you very much for that question. So with regard to sustainability and technology, I think waste would be top on that list, because when we look at technology and the environment or the sustainability of any business engagement, technology has a major role, especially in these days. And with consumption driving that technology now driving manufacturing, we discover, like Abbas says, waste begins at extraction. In a way, it seems like we are just trashing away the environment with the way we pursue technology. So we always worry about industrial waste, but there's also, post-consumption waste. So you talk about extraction of, rare earth materials. You talk about energy use to convert these materials into useful business inputs. You talk about then the industrial waste. Then you come to consumption waste, because most of the gadgets we buy, we have no idea where to take them when we no longer want them. So these are all areas of concern. So it is not surprising that there are quite a number of policies. For example, on a global scale, you have the United Nations, driving what you can extract, like Abbas said, labor issues, social capital issues, where people can no longer trust their own brothers because they want to. So these are global policies, especially the ones on environment. We have in Nigeria, we have the Federal Environmental Protection Agency Act, as repealed by the, National Environmental Standard and Regulations. So these are laws that have been put in place to follow.
So it means
in pursuit of technology.
It means these policies exist, There are policies
Yeah.
that guide the use of technology and every other thing. But do you think that the implementation of this, there is enough implementation of these policies?
Well, that's a huge question. So policies are, I think to answer your question, it is important to emphasize that policies are useless when it lacks practice. So when we talk about sustainability, it is less of a policy issue than it is of a practice issue. So implementation is a global problem. It's a Nigerian problem. It happens in local communities. So there are policies from the global to the local, but it is clearly critical to emphasize that implementation.
In essence, what we should be talking more about is awareness. People should know exactly what they are supposed to do. If you use something, you no longer need them. Where should you take them to? And this could be more of an awareness program, awareness problem, not policy problem, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. People need to know. And there's a problem at every level. IBASAB has cleared some of these issues. You need to look at impact. For example, if you buy a shirt now, they tell you how to iron it, how to wash it, not how to dispose it when you no longer want. And that goes for every technology, consumption object out there. So getting to be aware of how to practice sustainable technology use, right from extraction to when you no longer want the product you have.
Okay, Abasab, having understood the challenges we have in the technology sector as regards sustainability and how we can, the role of the sustainability consultants. A number of persons might be willing to say, okay, I want to work in the sustainability sector, but the sustainability sector is a sector and the technological sector is also a sector. Now, coming together, do you think the advancement in technology reduces opportunities in the sustainability sector, especially given the fact that, of course, if you want to know more about a lot of things, what you need to do at your fingertips, you can have AI prompts, you have everything you want. So opportunities, job opportunities, work opportunities, we're talking about the future of work, right? So opportunities that emerge in this sector, looking at the technological advancements.
Okay. Interestingly, there's been some concerns that the mainstreaming of climate change and sustainability considerations will lead to loss of jobs, especially as countries around the world are trying to implement the Paris Agreement, which then drives the whole concept of decarbonization. How can you follow a low carbon development pathway that we don't consume so much heavy fuel, fossil fuel, that leads to high emissions that is warming the globe. Now, to do this, countries are pursuing decarbonization agenda. Nigeria has enacted Climate Change Act of 2021. We also have an energy transition plan in 2022. We're currently working on a carbon, market mechanism. The president, has inaugurated a National Council of Climate Change that is responsible for driving a lot of climate negotiations.
Wow.
And all of these activities, what it means is that, the UN itself has also, they're also aware that developed economies can quickly leapfrog their years of advancement to, sort of cushion the effect of this decarbonization. But Africa, because our ecological footprint is quite low, just 4% of, in comparison to the global consumption, the whole idea of decarbonization does not make sense to Africa because we've not even emitted enough. But what we are pursuing is a low carbon development pathway so that we don't go the same way the others have gone. To do that, we need technology. Now, technology obsolescence will happen because new technology will come up. So certain technologies will have to be phased out, particularly in certain sectors where you have high energy consumption, technologies. So they want to replace them with more energy efficient, variants. For example, technologies, we now see emergence of electric mobility, electric vehicles, 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers. Now you see a lot of heavy fossil fuel vehicles are now being converted to electric vehicles. So these are new technologies. It will require new skills, no doubt. The old one will have to be phased out. But as these new technologies come up, new jobs are created. And that's why the ILO has said that there will be at least 2 million jobs that will be created as a result of this decarbonization effort. And they are termed green jobs. These are jobs that help to protect the environment and also help to ensure that the rights of people are managed in a socially responsible manner.
As sustainability consultants begin to wonder or begin to think about loss of jobs, they should also be aware of the jobs that are being
new
created.
Opportunities that will come. I'll give an example. In the solar renewable energy sector, there's been a lot of new jobs that have been created in these sectors. You have a lot of solar technicians that have been trained. You have deployment of, because I've been in rural communities where some of them have not had light. I think 2 years ago, I was in a community, or last year or so, I was in a community. Someone who is over 40 years said he has not seen electric light for once in his life.
Subhanallah.
And you have situations like that. So now the deployment of solar renewables in these underserved and unserved communities in rural Nigeria and other places in Africa means that certain new set of people with skills about solar installation, solar battery management, disposal, and all these things need to be deployed. And people are getting trained. There are grants. There are different opportunities for people to get trained. In fact, I've been a judge. I've judged sessions where young people are now innovating new technology to address issues in agriculture. One of the issues in agriculture is cold storage. Farmers lose at least 40 to 60% of their produce because they can't get them to the market in a fresh state. Now, young people are coming up with solar cold room so that this can extend the shelf life of produce and increase farmers' household income, right? You also have similar, opportunities where we talk about financial inclusion. I was in a community in Nasarawa or thereabout, and the last time I remember that you go around searching for network on your phone, right, is about 20 years ago. But this is the reality of some people nowadays.
Yeah.
So there are problems. Because there are problems, there are opportunities to develop technologies. So more jobs will come.
There are jobs that
will replace a whole lot of the older ones.
Okay, Dr. Ibrahim Sahib. Abbas Abbas told us that there are quite a number of challenges, and of course new opportunities are also springing up. So can you also tell us probably some of the challenges you identified and how businesses can leverage technology to solve these problems while implementing the sustainable practices?
Thank you very much for that question. That's an interesting one. I think what we are trying to bring out here is if sustainable technology is a reality or if it's possible. Now, before we go into that, I need to make two clarifications. Abbas has made some very important points in terms of creating the context. So first, I want to clarify that technology, although we may be tempted to look at AI or the advanced ones, like the solar paneling he mentioned, which surprisingly, you wonder why Nigeria has wasted so much time to go into solar when the sun is always there. So technology is just using like the new skills he talked about and the old skills as well to get things done. Now, the second clarification I want to make is that sustainability, like he mentioned earlier on, going by the Brotherworth and Khalid definition of social, environmental, economic inclusion, making sure that the environment is okay. There's a balance between the environment and people's economic, progress in life and social well-being. So, for example, we need better roads, we need good hospitals, We need solar panel buildings. All these are, driving pressure on the environment. So the businesses that will, if you do the maths, if technology is dependent on the environment, people depend on the environment, we measure successes based on the things we're able to do along these lines, there's a lot of pressure on the environment. So to answer your question, maybe the one I created, I should say, is sustainable technology achievable? No. In our current drive, it is not a possibility. Now, what we can do, Abasaba said that earlier on as well, the only thing we can do is to strike a sort of balance between the pressure we're putting on the environment and how prosperous we want to be as a people, such that we do not deny. Now, when we say future generations, that's our own children. So we need to make sure that pursuing the goals we see now don't prevent our children from pursuing the goals they are yet to see. So that's a critical one. And I think businesses have a lot of role to play in this, to make sure that
Dr. Sam,
we stay within limits.
Looking at you told us that sustainable technology might not be achievable. So what advice will you now give to individuals who are looking to build a career around sustainability and technology?
Right. So again, we need to come down a bit now. Technology and sustainability are global issues, but if you look at climate crisis, for example, the global climate challenge are snippets of local situations. So what I mean is, climate change is a global reality here, but these things happen in communities. So solutions have to come from communities. You have to identify a local challenge within the sustainability or technology purview and address that. So what is technology or sustainability globally here? Abasab mentioned solar paneling, renewable energy. That is a local problem that will eventually, affect or impact global reality.
So what
businesses can address local problems that make sense to the people in the local community.
What you are saying is, so individuals that are looking to go into that field should look at the challenges in their local communities and find a solution to that local challenge, and you would get to where you want to get to. Okay, that's interesting.
Brilliant.
Habasa, what advice would you give to young individuals that are looking to build a career at the intersection of technology and sustainability?
Just if you permit me, just before I go to that question, I just want to extend the frontiers of Dr. Saab's response to that question about sustainability of technology. I think what Dr. is getting across is to help us understand that whatever technology we see today, there's what you call a value chain that brings that technology on board. So if you say an electric vehicle, for example, an electric vehicle doesn't just come, it comes in pieces. There are different components that come together to make that electric vehicle. Now, sometimes the reality is that you have an electric vehicle that you want it because you want to cut emission. But how do you charge that electric vehicle when you go and plug that electric vehicle to a generator that is using diesel, right? And this is the sense is saying that, to achieve everything we intend by sustainable technology may not really come out. There are always, opportunity costs. There are always trade-off. Everything cannot happen as we want it, but we can always make a progress. And that's why the whole concept of net zero agenda you have Nigeria has committed net zero agenda 2060. You have the likes of India 2070, but the world globally has committed to net zero agenda by 2050. The whole idea is net zero is how much are we emitting, how much are we saving? Let's balance it so that it comes to zero, so that we don't emit more that will affect the earth. And I think I just wanted to put that context, for the benefit of our listeners. So for young people who are looking to go into technology sustainability, technology sustainability is technology, because what is technology meant to do? To ease our lives. What is sustainability meant to do? To preserve our lives. So there is a whole lot of intersection. And the world that we find ourselves, I think we must begin to think differently once what we think is technology. So for example, there's a project that is being built and is going to emit a lot of noise. And because there are people around, they don't want that project to disturb residents around that place. What technology do they have? Then they have to raise what we call an acoustic wall that attenuates the noise that will come from that, operating asset, so that it will not disturb other people. That's a technology that reduces noise pollution. Now, another technology is, if you run a diesel gen, the fumes from the exhaust will affect the air shed, and of course impact on the air quality index in that environment. Now, building new technology with super efficient engines would lower the kind of particulate matter that we find in the atmosphere, because you are burning cleaner fuel. For example, instead of using diesel, you're now using gas. So these are technologies, slight improvement, climate smart agriculture, right? So you improvement of seed quality to drought resistant or flood resistant is technology. So there are myriads of technology. Technology and sustainability cut across different aspects of life.
In essence, to make it very, very straightforward to people, is you said technology is sustainability, and sustainability is technology. So if you are looking to build a career around sustainability and technology, what you need to do is just to look at the environment, look at your society, identify the challenges, identify the problems, and the solution is waiting. And to provide those solutions, technology is waiting to
and this is something to bear in mind. And this is where, when we build technology, we apply sustainability.
Yeah.
When we want to achieve sustainability, we need technology. So if you're building a technology, you can't build a technology that will affect the environment in a negative way. You can't build a technology that will destroy people
without bearing sustainability.
So you have to apply a sustainability lens in designing your technology.
Yeah, I said it the other time that Abbas Sahab has a lot of passion for sustainability, and he has a lot to give us. But this is all time will permit us to take. I say Jazakumullah khairan to Dr. Ibrahim Sahib. We have really learned from your wealth of knowledge. We also say Jazakumullah khairan to Abbas Sahib. We would always want to hear again from you about sustainability and how we can always have a sustainable environment. To our listeners, Jazakumullah khairan for being with us throughout this season of Future of Work. I know you have enjoyed this discussion so much, and you might have some questions, comments, or observations. Do not hesitate to reach out to us via africa@mta.tv, and look out for the next episode. I know you would want to look out for it. I remain your host, Abdul Qadir Ismail Oluwagbemiga, and we'll meet again on Future of Work. I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
जब तक अमल नहीं है दिले पाको साफ से, जब तक अमल नहीं है दिले पाको साफ से, कमतर नहीं ये मशगला बुत के तवाफ से, कमतर नहीं ये मशगला बुत के तवाफ से